Hello, you filthy heathens. This is the Southern Heathens Podcast. Welcome. I am Ubba Ymirson, and with me, as always, Ravin Tiersen. And today, we want to talk about a few things. And another reminder, guys, by the way, just to let you know, it is so hard to start an episode because of how much we fucking laugh. I don't know what it is, but it's just something.
It's terrible.
But on to more important stuff. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm tired, but at the same time, kind of up a little bit because, it did snow last night and our power went out a couple times.
So. Yeah, that was wild. I mean, it didn't stay off for long, but we did have a power outage. And, of course, you have Lotus, the snake, and with no heat,
yeah,
that can be a little scary.
Definitely going to be better prepared. I bought some hand warmers that I'll be putting in other areas for her tank, just in case next time, and then probably a backup outlet or something like that.
Right.
That we can plug in her heaters to.
Maybe like a rechargeable battery or something.
It's so weird because like in the spring and summertime, we're not going to have to worry about this, not one bit. Even if it's storming, raining outside, it's not going to get that cold.
Well, just for the listeners, it was almost 70 degrees yesterday. And by that evening, it was snowing really, really hard. I mean, it's welcome to the South, That's how it is around here. But yeah, I mean, the power went out, and we didn't really know what to do about that. But it came back on fairly quick.
Luckily, I didn't have to work today, so I was just kind of in a chill mode. I was just mainly worried about Lotus, and if there was no heater, that's fine for me at least. Not like for her, I was just worried about her, but for me, I can sleep. I could have slept outside if I wanted to. I was actually tempted to because I haven't had snow, since I've gotten here.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, and later we're going to post pictures on the Facebook page and our Instagram of how the property looks right now. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I agree. It's it's definitely something different here than out west, Washington. I don't know what it is, and maybe other heathens or pagans can tell me, but like when you're in a different place, that you haven't been to, and you experience something like this, which I know to some people, it's just snow, it's minimal, but it's like, no, there's magic in there. You can tell, you can feel it.
Right.
And for me, when we went outside earlier and had that fire, it was amazing. Just sitting around having a little hard cider or something, and
yeah, I'm having a hard cider right now. Delicious.
I mean, I'm not having a hard cider per se. I'm having a Crown Apple, or Crown Whiskey Cola. That's the mixed drink.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Red's Apple Ale or Crown, but if you wanted to sponsor us, that'd be great.
I'm a fan of both.
Yeah, right. I'm a huge fan of Red's Apple Ale.
But yeah, as we always say on this podcast, though, guys, is go outside. Try to go outside every day if you can, and try to go outside in any form of weather, within reason, of course. Like if it's super hot outside, obviously, you're probably not going to spend 4 or 5 hours just in the blazing 100+ degree, heat. And same thing if it was super cold, like down in the 15 degrees. I know you're probably not going to spend hours out there, but try to get some.
Just if it's really hot, hit the shade, grab some lemonade, a book, enjoy that. If it's really cold, try to stay in the sun as much as possible and, stay warm. But other than that, yeah, get your asses outside and enjoy nature. That's where the power is.
Yeah, I'd say for cold-wise specifically, go on a hike. Going on a hike in general, it doesn't even have to be a hard one. It can be a small one. But go up into nature and go on a little small hike because you're constantly going to be warm from walking. Make sure to bring water with you, of course. But that in itself is also going to challenge you because the cold, for a lot of people, wakes them up. Because you can't settle in cold. You got to go.
Right.
Go. Keep yourself warm, especially in extreme cold. So I love it personally. Obviously, I come from a cold environment. So
well, when I at work, I work in coolers and freezers. And there is one side effect that happens to me with the cold, and I don't know if this affects anybody else, but it really makes me have to pee. Like it's an immediate sensation almost. And so that it goes away eventually, but yeah, that happens.
I don't know. For me, it just it wakes me up and it doesn't let me either go to sleep really for long. And if I've been drinking a lot, like let's say we got drunk one night, and let's say we were in here in the house most of the time, but as soon as I went outside in 18-degree weather, then I would not sober up, but I would feel much more alert easily.
So, I mean, I think that kind of leads us into some of our topics. That's almost like some kind of daily ritual, people can do, walking outside and doing things almost as a personal thing. So, tell us a little bit about what rituals and stuff are important.
Okay, so we have a tiny list, like three different types for rituals. And these are ones that I've been a part of, have done, or have heard of. Ritual, obviously, you can go about the sources, but more than likely, especially with personal ones, people are going to have their own style in the way they do things. So to kick things off, I will start for one, though, with a community ritual, which would be more like a bloat, especially in the Norse pagan world. With that being said, it's way more of a gathering. It's not as personal. You're definitely, obviously, there with a lot of people.
Right.
You're going to have a lot of food. Sometimes the bloats can be dedicated to different gods, as in any other ritual, but especially with Norse pagans, from what I've seen, a lot of bloats are dedicated to Odin.
Right.
Obviously, but there's nothing wrong with that. Unless there's another kindred I haven't seen before say otherwise, well, contact us. But yeah.
I mean, I think unless it's advertised otherwise, a bloat, you can hail any ancestor or god when it's your turn, to do so, unless it's like advertised as maybe like a Thor's bloat or Odin or something like that. Other than that, I think it's fair game who you hail or who you honor.
Yeah, and in bloat too, from what I was taught, we gather everyone around. People are usually going to hang out, especially when everyone gets there, probably going to hang out for like 45 minutes, an hour. Kind of, especially people who are new, who have just come to their first gathering. And so after everyone gets situated, everybody gets acquainted somewhat, then we'll do the first round of bloat, which will be, from what I was taught, there's a big drinking horn. It gets filled up with mead. There's also an altar in the yard or wherever it is with all the gods on it, and then weapons or things that you want blessed. They'll be right there, and everyone will circle around. And after the horn is poured, we will dump some out to the land spirits. And then the Gothi will say a chant. And then I'm not sure if it's counterclockwise or clockwise, but we'll go around in a circle, passing it around, sharing the horn. And the first round that everyone does, they will do a god or goddess that they're closest to. And then if it's short enough, like a short story, why they're close to them.
Right.
Then after that goes around, then it's first meal. And all the food that's been cooked right there for first meal, the first plate goes out to the land spirits and whomever this bloat is dedicated to, gods-wise. And then after first meal, then it comes Sumble. Then you're gonna pass the horn around 3 times. First round is to a god or goddess, again, but another one that you're also closest to, or it can be the same one, doesn't matter. And then the second one's going to be to an ancestor or ancestors. Try to be specific with names and origins and whatnot, and if they've accomplished something great or something that inspired you to do something good or great, then yes, bring that up. The last round will be to something like, for example, hailing to change, or hailing to chaos, or order, or something like that.
Right. So, to bring this up, I think it might be important. How does a group or a kindred reconcile a communal horn? Is it important that you share a horn, or are some more maybe germaphobe or germ conscious people?
Well, if no one wants to share the horn, that's fine. You can have your own. I personally have my own. I have a couple. Usually, if I have more than one with me, I'll let someone use it if they want.
Right.
But yeah, I've been a part of both where we did share the horn, and then others where, when COVID broke out, people, nothing politically, whatever, whether or not we like it or not, we had separate horns just in case,
Right.
So I mean that's all that really matters, I guess. What would also be more important would be making sure you have enough mead.
Right, that's
enough.
That's where it goes right there.
And so yeah, and the Sumble guys, that's when you start to actually not like party, but that's when some of the more drinking goes around, because I guess you're drinking every time after someone hails, including yourself.
Right.
So
that's when it's a little more appropriate to let loose, not not really at the beginning.
yeah, no, it is. I would say let loose, not too much, but I would say also too after Sumble's done, and if there's a fire going around, that'd be the perfect time to tell stories.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect time. And so that's for community ritual or bloat. Bloat, if you guys don't know, it actually means blood. Blood of the animal, which is being sacrificed. Which I forgot to mention in there too. The Gothi will actually eat, in not just bloat, but in Sumble, the Gothi will be going around with a tree branch from the bowl that's supposed to be animal's blood, or substitute it for mead in case people don't want to. And he'll be flicking that onto you. And I forgot the chant to it because I'm not a Gothi. But there's a chant that goes around to it. But each time before you hail a god or goddess or whoever you're hailing to, each time before that, yes, you get flicked, and then you wait till he's done, and then go ahead. So that leads us into the second one, which would be personal ritual. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about exactly what I do.
Right.
I don't think you will either.
No,
but
definitely not.
If you want to, you can go first with this one. Like, what would be a ritual, an example that you would do personally?
It depends. It depends on how I feel throughout the day. But I believe a ritual for me personally would be just the little things that I do to honor my ancestors and the gods throughout the day, holding myself to a certain standard, treating people a certain way. That kind of thing. Not really being. And for lack of a better term, like a theatrical ritual. Rituals can be many things. So it'd just be like my own little personal deal where I get up at a certain time, I do a certain thing at a certain time. I treat people a certain way, I talk to people a certain way, I hold myself with a certain standard, and you do that every day ritualistically, and that's an honor to the gods and to your ancestors.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So what would you say though too? So that'd be more of like every day, but what would you say like personal wise? Like if you were to sit down next to your altar, and have a statue of a god or goddess, what would be some examples that
a lot of the times
very vague ones?
I do give a blood offering. Just a small little, maybe a prick to the finger, or something like that, and I'll thank usually my patron god most of the time, and some of my ancestors, depending on who comes to me at the time. And I tend to light candles and incense and stuff like that, and just do a little, a personal thing. I don't necessarily speak out loud. I do a lot of it in my head, but it's all the same thing.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I would say I do the same thing. Mine, I guess it just depends on which deity that I'm, doing the offering or ritual for. I have statues for, I'd say almost all of the gods or giants that I worship. So,
right.
So I guess it just depends. But most of the time, yes, a candle is going to be lit in some sort of way, prick to the finger. Plus, I try to, you don't have to, mead. Always try to have mead for either gods or giants. It doesn't really matter. I just try to have mead. If not, then that's fine. Which, by the way, you guys don't have to do any of what we're literally saying. This is just describing how we go about personal
it's a
rituals.
personal thing. And I don't always make it about, my patron god. Sometimes I honor other gods and goddesses, but the majority of the time, however, it's to him. So
yeah, no, I'd say that too. Like I will be having an altar set up specifically for Odin here soon.
Right.
It's just tough times.
Well,
but I already have an altar, for the giants.
When we do our our small bloats, we have our house altar that sits in the living room.
Yep.
And it's got a few things. It's got a couple of idols on it, and it's a couple of drinking horns, some sage, a couple empty bottles of wine and mead. Just it's an offering bowl, a candle.
We keep those empty bottles there for I guess it's like a symbol of this new journey, because the bottle of wine was the first ritual that we ever did together.
Right.
And then the bottle of mead, that's like the first bottle of mead that wasn't fucking Chaucer's.
That was not
That was not Chaucer's.
That wasn't fucking gross, is what it means.
So that's why we kept that on there. But yeah, I'd say, you have a couple statues, or idols, a couple candles, offering bowl, a stag, a couple turkey horns.
Yeah, the stag horn, the antler. That was... there's an interesting story behind that, actually, before I gifted it to you.
Can you share?
Yeah, I was driving down the road transporting is really lightweight, one of those put together wardrobes that you just kind of put together, made of cloth and plastic rods and whatever that you get from like Walmart or whatever. And I was trying to drive really slow, and I got hit with a big gust of wind out of nowhere. It wasn't even a windy night, and it flew out of the back of the truck, and I had to back up in the road and get out of the truck, and I had to pick all that stuff up out of the ditch. And right next to the main part of the wardrobe was just, like on a silver platter, this just single stag antler. Beautiful stag antler. Maybe we can take a picture of it.
And beautiful it is. I love having it on the house altar. And that also leads me into something too, is like, I'll explain my everyday, rituals in a second, but the house altar though, with the stag and everything on it, we've done mini bloats, and I say mini because it's more than one person, and we try to we use mead and we still use our own blood and stuff, but the mini bloats will include like us too, so it's not necessarily a personal ritual because personal one would just be yourself.
Right.
Anyways, that is that's our house altar, and I would encourage people to have a house altar as aside from your personal one. Because I have a personal one, plus I'll have another one here soon in my room. I'm not saying you have to have it, but I would encourage a house altar because, a house worship from stories and sources of not just in Norse paganism, but Greeks too, as far as I can tell, was a very important thing as well.
Right.
Because it's not necessarily that, every time you make an offering or a ritual or something like that, God's just going to come to you. No, it's not necessarily that. I guess for me at least, I see it as more of a mindset to keep you to keep you from not being distracted.
Exactly.
You come home and you see that every single day. Most people don't go to their rooms first; they go to the fucking living room. If you've worked a long day and the first thing you do is go to the fridge and crack open a beer, and then come back and go to the living room, what's the first thing you're gonna see?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that this is a very pagan household.
Yeah.
We have pagan things everywhere. So for us, it's a lot easier. If you live in a household that has mixed religions and all that, it's a little more difficult because you can't necessarily have a house altar in the living room or whatever. So that would speak back to maybe do set up a personal altar, a couple of personal altars dedicated to different things, in your personal space. But what we see obviously is the altar and the giant Vigvasyr hanging on the wall. We have a war horn hanging on the wall, statues of Thor, and it's a beautiful pagan household that we have. For my everyday ritual, because I was going to explain that, for me, and this is since I became a pagan when I first got in contact with Thor, I guess the best way to put it is I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, but when I got out of high school, I wanted to do something competitive, so I started lifting weights more, as a lot of people do now. And I lifted weights in high school too, but it was only for sports, so I didn't take it as seriously. But after that, I started taking it seriously, and I've been competing in powerlifting for the last 4 years. I have since now switched to Olympic style weightlifting, not going to the Olympics, but I do Olympic style weightlifting, and I have a coach and everything, and I plan on competing as soon as I can. But to me, that pursuit of strength and trying to better your body, to me that's like an everyday thing to honor Thor and Odin, I would say too, because when it comes to training, for me it clears my mind. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm out the door by 5:10, 5:15, right to the gym. It's only like 10-15 minutes away, luckily. So I get up, do that, clears my mind, helps me go about the day. And with Olympic style lifting, there's a lot of stretching, there's a lot of methodic, I guess, programming to it. So it does. I'm in there, for a couple hours,
easily.
Right.
You know, I'm in there for a very long time. Again, that's my personal everyday, you know, ritual. My diet's getting better. I drink, you know, 1.5 gallons of water every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 gallons because I get so thirsty. But yeah, that's my everyday things. You know, on the page, people or not on the page, but like, if you guys want to get in contact with us, you know, tell us your everyday rituals.
Right.
You know what you guys do.
And I can actually attach a questionnaire to the podcast. Easy. I did on one of the other episodes. So that'll be really easy for everyone to get in touch with us. And of course, at the end of the episode, we'll tell you how to get in touch with us and all that good stuff. So
yeah. So our next 3 topics. I guess next one topic, but it all has to do with fortune telling. You could say.
Well, I kind of wanted to make an observation here. Is there is a slight difference because we're going to talk about tarot and runes and rune draws and rune reading and all that. But there's a slight difference between runes and tarot because tarot cards is more you reaching out to, I guess, the universe. You know, reaching out to the energies and to the gods and to whatnot. You know, and getting an answer. And for me, the runes are more of you asking a question and getting a direct answer from. If you get what I'm trying to say, it's more of it's kind of different sided. If you understand what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, I don't have a huge opinion on tarot because I think I've only had like one tarot reading done ever on me.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a few rune pulls done for me, and I think those are awesome. I do rune draws for myself. I feel confident that I can do them myself. For myself, though, I don't think I have the ability to do them for other people. You know, I'm not a shaman. I'm not a what is it? I'm not a warlock or a witch.
Yeah, I have actually done readings for other people.
Yeah, and I believe that. I believe that completely. But what's your? Have you done rune draws before for yourself? Or
I have, yes. And for me, I much prefer runes over tarot. For me, I get more of a direct answer, and more of a concrete. This is your path right now, than you do with a tarot reading.
Okay. Yeah, and I know there's different like decks, you know, of tarots where runes, you know, there's different alphabets. Yes, younger, right. Elder, and Anglo-Saxon. There's a bunch of different ones,
and you can use different runes for whatever energies you're working with as well.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that.
The runes are the runes. I mean, you don't just have different decks, you know, and you'll get a booklet with the tarot, and they're all different, you know. This is what this card means. This is what this card means. I mean, to me, it's not something I'd prefer to play with.
Yeah, both the sets that I have of runes are both Elder Futhart. The biggest differences, though, one of them is specifically aimed towards the energies, you know, of the giants, whereas the other one is directly aimed to the energies of the gods.
Right.
And also one of them was gifted to me versus one that I paid for.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference there for me. So I think they both work for different kinds. So
yeah, my rune set I actually made myself. So I mean I sat down, I cut every piece, I wood burned the runes into them. I blooded them myself. They're really personal to me, and I use them when I need to. I don't use them all the time. So.
Oh yeah, because now you hear about all these so-called, you know, witches, vulvas, and shamans who say they can tell your future of your life in like 3 seconds just from pulling Fehu or Gebu or
and I guarantee you you're going to Valhalla, brother.
Oh, they drew was it Algiz?
Yeah.
They drew one of Odin's runes. Oh yeah, no, Valhalla, brother.
Yeah, you're going straight there. You're going straight there.
Well, I live in the south, so wouldn't I be going to Yalhalla? I'm just kidding.
It's down yonder, I promise you.
Down yonder.
No, all the biscuits you can eat.
I wouldn't mind that. Biscuits here are great.
Biscuits and Coors Light, man. A little bit of NASCAR.
Yeah, no, I'm good on the NASCAR.
But yeah, I mean that's really all I can speak about on tarot.
Yeah, I think when it comes to runes, like I said, I can't really speak so much on tarot. I just wanted to bring it up today because I know some heathens or pagans do use tarot, which is fine. I don't really have much of an opinion on them because I've had a couple readings done on me, but I've never tried or even pursued tarot. Yeah. But when it comes to runes, I definitely prefer to have someone that's experienced. Like preferably someone who's been doing this, for years.
Right.
Someone who really has experience on them and has, been a part of this path for a long time.
Exactly.
Definitely don't like hey, I've been a heathen for 6 months and I know every single runic alphabet, or supposedly.
Yeah. No, you don't. I was watching an episode. I'm going to give a little bit of a plug here for Iraker, the Ultimator Craftsman. He does videos on TikTok, and he has this book that's full of different kind of Icelandic runes and this obscure stuff that you really don't hear about very often. And he's talking about what particular energies you use to work with those particular runes. Beautiful stuff, and I think that's really good information. And it'd be nice to have him on the episode to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So, hey, Iraker, if you're hearing this,
yeah,
we'd love to have you on here.
Yeah, but definitely, we'll have to keep in touch. I mean, he's an easy guy to get a hold of, and he's really, really easy to talk to. So, I mean, it's not difficult at all. But I think my thing with tarot and runes is when you have somebody that's specifically Norse or Germanic heathen, it's the runes. When you have somebody that's more eclectic, like they started with a Wiccan background or something like that, you'll see them use tarot cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I came from a Celtic background, and I did play with tarot cards for a bit, but it's not my thing. I know how to use them. I'm not a fan. Runes, though, I've gotten so many answers out of runes that the tarot cards, I would draw them right next to each other, and the runes would be like, just tell the tarot cards to fuck off because they're not, they're nothing, So, and I don't mean to offend anybody that likes using tarot cards, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. I would say I got answers from runes. I've been meaning to do more rune drawings and just working with them in general.
Right.
Been meaning to, because that's one thing I feel like people in this practice kind of neglect. They think you just have to work with the gods, and that's like very minuscule. That's small-minded thinking. Like no and yes. Like yes, we do honor and worship the gods, but there are so many other things. There's land spirits. There's runes, trolls. There's many other things, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that people really have to learn and work with, but
it's worth it. It's worth it, though. I will say it's very much worth it. You never know how. I guess you could say you never know what answers you'll find, but also how many answers that you are right.
Yeah, well,
or sorry. That's the wrong way to put it. How many answers you'll find, but also the answers that you may not have wanted to find, but at the same time that they are right, though.
Yeah, I mean...
The ones that you need.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the answers you need, not the answers you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you don't really know the runes very well, there is a book, highly recommended book. It's even recommended by Iraker. He recommended it to me. It's called The Big Book of Runes and Rune Magic by Edred Thorson. You can find that online. Just Google it and you can find it.
I'm pretty sure it might be on Amazon. I'm not sure.
I mean, if it is on Amazon, we can probably do a link and put it on the website. I'll definitely put a link for it in the show notes on the description. But yeah, that's a good book to start with. A book that's not really recommended is The Book of Runes by Ralph Bloom. A lot of people are not really into his work, and if he ever listens to this, fuck you, I don't care. I mean, no one's really. I mean, that's something about this new age runic crap that he put in there about like the blank rune and stuff like that. Like it's called Odin's rune, or I don't. Okay.
Well, yeah, sooner or later they're gonna start trying to mix Bible verses with runes.
Yeah, those Yahweh heathens or whatever they call themselves.
Yeah, that just is ridiculous, man.
So yeah, we're coming up on 30 minutes, and I think this is a pretty good episode, good content. You have anything you need to add?
As always, guys, go outside, read a book, go on a hike, have some fun, and honor the gods, praise the land spirits, wherever you're at, too.
Yeah.
Go travel.
Yeah, and if you have trouble with books that you want to read, always read the books we recommend, no one else. Nobody else. Just us. Just kidding. But no, yeah. If you like the content and you want to share us with anybody, share us with your heathen friends, with your other pagan friends, even with your Christian friends. Go ahead and give us a share. We are on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify and Anchor. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Southern Heathens and Instagram at The Southern Heathens. And you can find us. You can find our website. I'm not going to say the website link here because it's ridiculous. But you can find our website. It's linked to the Facebook page. So yeah, if you like the content, do all those things, and we will see you next time.